questions. Coach, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming back. It's good to kind of be back in Welsh-Ryan and get things going again. Obviously October 30th, right? So you're going to see, an October 30th version of where we're at. But overall, I was really proud of our ability to kind of fight through a lot of things tonight. It wasn't going so well early in terms of finishing and seeing the ball go in. Give Lewis a lot of credit. I thought they did a great job coming in. They were really tough and physical, and they were driving the ball and getting the spots and sharing it. Warden and Vanderheit were really good, especially in the first half, and that's what we needed. We need that, and for us, obviously, we're trying to get through a lot of stuff right now. We're trying to integrate two guys that have been out for 9 months. They're coming off serious injuries. This was their first, for both Matt and Ty, this was their first live action in 9 months, since February. They've been practicing, but as you guys know, it's a whole lot different when the lights go on, and then you got Brooks, who's not out there. So all those things considered, that's not an excuse. We had to fight through a lot of that. And then we had crazy, with Matt, we knew we were only going to play Matt in the first half. Then Luke's in foul trouble the whole game. So now we're kind of going to lineups we really hadn't practiced, hadn't played. And, for that, I was proud of our guys to kind of get through some of that adversity when the game in the second half was still very much in the balance. And, obviously Nick was a warrior. He's just a really good player, with not only the scoring, but he gets 6 rebounds, 5 assists. We share it well. We had 22 assists, which is awesome. That's always been a staple of what we do. And then I thought Jalen kind of settled his nerves a little bit in the second half. He saw the ball go in a little bit, got to the basket. And I thought the unsung hero of the game, though, was Justin Mullins, guys. I thought Justin came in, look at his plus minus. He's a plus 30 when he's on the floor. I mean, that's how you find more playing time, right? I mean, I couldn't take him out of the game. He ended up playing most of the second half just because he was doing so many good things. He rebounded. He had a couple assists. He had 4 steals. He got out on the break. He hit a big 3. And just really proud of Justin. He's worked hard. He knows that he's a key guy for this team, and we really need him. And, for new guys, it's always good to just kind of get your feet wet, right? Just get out there for the first time. I thought you saw some early jitters, but I thought in the second half you saw some things from KJ, with his ability to put the ball in the basket, and he gets 5 assists. So, overall, we have a lot to clean up. We got to get a lot better. But this is a good night for us. We learned a lot, and now we got 5 days to kind of get ourselves ready for opening night.
Coach, you mentioned obviously Nick Martinelli playing a ton of minutes, especially with the foul trouble for Hunger, and Nicholson only really playing the first half. Got to play him at the 5, allowed you to switch everything defensively.
Yeah.
How much of that are we going to see coming in the next couple of weeks as start to ramp up?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's something we have. I mean, one of the things they kind of went to a smaller lineup where they had picked and popped their big and made a couple threes. And we just said, hey, let's just, they're hurting us off the dribble a little bit. Their pick and roll game was getting us strung out. We have that in our arsenal, to be able, we had Blake Barkley in there, who's a little bit smaller as a big, and Nick was, and we just said, let's switch all those handoffs and ball screens. And I thought that's really when the game turned. We were able to get some consistent stops. We kept them out of our paint. And, it's something that we're going to have to take a look at. I mean, you just have to find a way to win the games, right? I mean, that's the whole goal. Whatever's going on, you got to figure it out. You got to find a way. We had a lot of game pressure on us. They had a lot of confidence. They saw the ball go in. They were getting to the basket. They were getting us in foul trouble. They were making threes. And we had to really dig down in that second half, and I thought we did.
Coach, you mentioned Jalen Leach's increased comfort in the second half. What specifically do you think led to that?
I just think, anytime, guys, I mean, I was a long time ago. I'm 50 now, so I don't want to say this, but anytime you kind of get out there the first time, there's some jitters, and it comes from a good place, it's not that you're scared. It's just you have nerves that first night. He's in a new situation. He's leveled up coming from Fairfield. He's playing now in the Big Ten. He knows that we need to have him, has to have a key role for us. And I just thought that first half was kind of a feeling out process for him. I thought you saw in the second half a little bit more of kind of hopefully what we expect. He's a big guard. He can shoot the ball. He can get to the basket. He can finish. And, hopefully with his length, be a real competent defender on the other end. So I was happy to see him kind of settle in. And that second half, I thought he played really well.
Coach, could you talk about the decision to start KJ and how you saw him facilitate the offense on the floor?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things we just decided that it wasn't any rhyme or reason, obviously, with Brooks out, just to kind of how did we want to start the game? And we kind of erred towards having a little bit more ball handling. We knew Lewis was going to be scrappy and kind of get after us a little bit. So we decided to put another ball handler on the floor. And but I want all those guys to have starters mentalities. I want KJ, I want Blake Smith, I want Angelo when he gets Justin Mullins. And our lineup is not set in stone. It's kind of a revolving door. I mean, I think, certainly Nick and Matt and, Ty as he gets more and Jalen. I mean, I think those four will be pretty much staples. But, right now with Brooks being out, we'll take a look at some different things. But we just felt like tonight with the way Lewis was going to be matched up with us that we wanted another smaller ball handling guard in there.
Coach, before the second half, I saw Keenan Fitzmaurice, who had not had the chance to play yet. I saw him go down the bench and give everyone high fives before.
It's a great
before the
energy guy.
half. As a new guy, what can you kind of tell us about him and his importance?
Yeah, I mean, you guys know. I mean, he's a big body. I love his spirit. He's super enthusiastic. He's got great energy. He's figuring things out. Obviously, we feel like, especially when we head into these teams that have 6'11", you play teams like this, they're playing smaller bigs. So sometimes it's harder for guys like Matt and Keenan because they're out on the floor, and because they were having success, we had to kind of match up to what they were doing. When you get into the meat of our schedule and the teams we're going to play that are going to have the 6'10", 6'11", 7-footers, we're going to need that depth. And, that's why he's here, because we know he's an older guy. He's 25 years old. He's in his 7th year of college. And I thought we knew tonight Matt was only going to be playing in the first half. So I kind of extended Matt's minutes a little bit, and played him and Luke kind of those minutes. And then as we got into the second half, I knew that's when I was going to try to use Keenan. And then I would have liked to play him a little more, but they had us chasing him, and we had to go small in order to kind of get the lead.
How hard is it? You talked about with Brooks, Ty, and Matt being banged up. Obviously, those guys have played a lot, but the rest of the roster maybe hasn't played as much with them. So how hard is it to integrate them on the fly, even though they have experience, but trying to fit them in with all the new faces and guys in new roles?
Yeah, it's been difficult, because really for most of the summer and in the fall, we haven't had those guys on the floor. We were on a foreign trip. We played 3 games over there. Ty and Matt kind of were just recently. Ty's been practicing longer. Matt was just kind of recently in the last 10 days kind of given the okay to start, practicing full and scrimmaging 5-on-5. So, yeah, I mean, it's not an excuse. It's just the reality. We're trying to build our team, and we have these veteran guys who are very, that we're trying to work back in while still trying to win games and figure out how they can play together. So we're definitely a work in progress. And then the same thing's going to happen as Brooks. He's getting real close to being back. So, that's been the hardest part for me as a coach, is just to try to kind of integrate those guys back into the team while also still building the rest of the guys and build how we're going to play. So, that's why I think you see some of the disjointed play a little bit that you saw tonight.
Time for a couple more questions.
Coach, on Brooks, you mentioned yesterday, hopefully he's able to go on Monday.
Yeah.
What's the rest of the ramp-up period looks like for him? What else does he have to clear through?
Yeah, he's just, he's been out, with a foot. We just got to make sure he's healthy. That's on our medical team. He's doing a little bit more each day. Obviously, once you're then cleared to start doing things, you don't just play. You got to, run a little bit, and then you got to cut, and then you got to do some non-contact, and you got to be able to run and shoot and, get in a defensive slide and all those things. So he has not done anything with contact. So he's still in a non-contact phase, and we're hoping, maybe tomorrow a little bit more, but we're not gonna rush him to jeopardize the full season. We have to make sure that when he comes back, that foot is right, his body's right. Not so much the foot, even his foot's healed up. It's the body. When you haven't done anything for a long time, your muscles and, your calves and your hamstrings and your hips and things like that. So we got a great medical team. They're pushing the envelope. They understand the urgency. Obviously, Brooks wants to play, and we're taking it day by day. There's no timetable really, and hopefully each day is a little bit better, and hopefully as we get to Monday, we'll have a little bit more clarity if he's going to be ready to go.
Last question right here.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you a little bit about Nick Martinelli, coach,
Yep.
because obviously you talked about earlier how, Ty and Matt are coming back from injury, Brooks out right now, and he really stepped up tonight. So what do you envision for his role this season, given how much talent there is on this roster?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be one of our key guys. I mean, I've said it all preseason. His next step is to be, a guy you count on for major production every night. And I think he's ready for that. I mean, that's, as you get Brooks back and Nick, I mean, to me, those are going to be our two focal points. We're going to play around those two guys, and then everybody else is going to play their roles. And then Jalen, what he can do offensively. So, to me, as you build, and then as we get Ty, gets his legs underneath him and his ability to make shots and kind of be that weapon. And we know what Matt can do in the pick and roll game and the lobs and all those things, and Luke. But, I mean, we're expecting Nick to have a chance to be an all-conference player. I mean, that's how highly I feel about him. I've always said, if you want to have a year where you have a chance to be a postseason team, you got to have multiple guys that are potential all-league players, and I think we have one in Brooks. He was that last year. And I think the next, step is for a guy like Nick, and I think he's ready. You saw tonight, 25 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. He's all over the place. I mean, he's the focal point of what we're doing, especially with Brooks out right now. So he's a key guy for us, and a guy we're going to need night in and night out. All right, appreciate you guys. See you on Monday.
Players coming up shortly. We've got Nick Martinelli, Justin Mullins, podium here. Ready to questions. Adam?
Justin, coach just called you the unsung hero of this game. 8 points, 4 steals. How did you feel out there, and what does that mean to you?
Yeah, it felt good, especially after a year like last year, to just go out there and make an impact for my team and just do all the little things that they needed to get the win tonight. So, yeah, it was big for me. Yeah.
Charlie?
Nick, what's the difference like when you're really the first option heading into a game compared to games last season?
Yeah, definitely. It feels good that my teammates have gained the trust in me to get me the ball in amazing spots, honestly. And I'm just really used to playing off people because we had Boo and Chase. Like, I played with a bunch of dynamic guards. So a lot of times, like, I was getting it back to them off cuts and stuff. But now, I get to shoot them. So, yeah, my teammates obviously got me all my shots tonight. So, yeah, it was good.
Good.
Nick, did that fall? You're all good?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I hope. Yeah.
Nick, obviously with some of the injury troubles, Matt only playing the first half, then Luke being in foul trouble, you had a lot of opportunity to play the 5 and kind of switching everything defensively. What's it like that in that role for you defensively from your perspective?
Yeah, I think in any role, for us at least, like, we know that we just need to stick to our principles, and our principles is about, playing hard and just doing our job. Like, we'll do anything. We have a bunch of guys that want to do anything it takes to win. So whether I'm the 5 or the point guard, I wish I was a point guard, but yeah, for sure. But yeah, we definitely, like, you see this guy, he comes in, plays a bunch of positions, is guarding like 3 guys the whole time he's in, taking my cuts, taking all my mess ups. So, like, guys like that, that's who we recruit here, people that want to do the job, which is winning.
Justin, with your ability to come on the court, kind of like what Nick just mentioned, and really, wreck an offensive game plan, how much pride do you take on that end of the court?
Yeah, I definitely take a lot of pride. I'm really just, like he said, looking for any way to help the team. So when I can come in and just, help defensively like that and get us going, it means a lot to me. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Any more questions? That'll wrap us up. Thank you.